don't forget to grab your lifetime access to all of the recordings of all of the speakers in this show. This has been a phenomenal event with tons and tons of ideas of how you can expand your own business to have multiple streams of income. And I don't want you to miss out on any bit of it, not a single minute, not a single second. So grab your lifetime access. Somewhere on this page, there is a big yellow button to get your lifetime access. Click that button. Go get your lifetime access now before the show ends. Hey, we're back with another exciting episode of the Freedom in Business Show. The guest in this episode is Elizabeth Ruth. She's the owner and chief copywriter for ER Marketing Services. She saw a disconnect between the way entrepreneurs described their business in person versus how they were represented online. And she is now on a mission to empower business owners to attract the right clients, connect with their audience, and establish their industry authority.
Well, welcome to the show, Elizabeth. I'm so glad that you are here, and I can't wait to jump in with you and find out and learn all about you and your business.
Thanks, Stephanie. I'm really excited to be here.
We're going to start at the beginning. So at the beginning of, is this business that you have now, ER Marketing Services, is that where you started, or did you start in business in a different way?
I actually started about 20 something years ago. And originally I was a Mary Kay beauty consultant. It was a side hustle. I loved the products and I thought, hey, I could make a little bit of extra money. So that was my first introduction or taste of entrepreneurship. So I've done that all this time, varying degrees of intensity and commitment to it. And then I've folded in other businesses throughout the years. Do you want me to tell you about them now or? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to hear the progression of how you then gone from network marketing to where you are now.
Okay. So I was in the network marketing and then I had a job and I was a consultant for fundraising capital campaigns, hundreds of millions of dollars for new hospital wings, new buildings for universities. So I did that for many years. And that was fulfilling at the time when I didn't have a family yet. So once I had a family, I really took a moment to feel into my values and what I wanted to give my children. And it came to me that I wanted to stay home with them. I didn't want to have someone else raise them. That was just my personal choice. And so when my children, they're 22 months apart. So I was pregnant with my second. My daughter was still 1. And I decided, I think I'm going to open a home daycare. So I owned the business. I marketed. I got my own clients. And I did that for about 11 years. And I joke, my son is, even though I have 2 kids, he was actually my 4th because I had a couple of daycare kids in the fold, in the mix there. And that was great for till about 2018. My kids were born in 2006, 2008. So the time came eventually where, I was still doing Mary Kay on the side to fulfill that creative side. And then I decided I love kids, but I need some me time. I need to keep my brain going. So I started to crochet and knit again. When they were little, and they were the best customers ever because they would come to me, Mom, can I have a Batman cape or can I have a Halloween costume? So that really fulfilled me. And then I grew that into a business. I loved making character hats. So I not only made them for sale, ready to sell, and that's the Ruthless Crafter is that business. It's still happening. And I designed the patterns. And I also write children's books to tell each character's story. So that was an amazing creative outlet. So now I'm doing Mary Kay, the home daycare, and the Ruthless Crafter. I'm phasing out of the daycare at this point, 2018. And I decided that I love marketing. I did it for my handmade business. I caught myself, oh my gosh, I've just helped 4 friends with their marketing, understand social media, because when you're so passionate about it, whether you're getting paid or not, you just keep up with the trends because you're interested in reading those articles. So it was a natural transition for me to close down the daycare. And now I have the marketing services. So yeah, I have a lot going on.
That's awesome though. And I love the transition. And I love how you just said, you know what, I really love doing this aspect of all of these businesses required the marketing.
Mhm.
Where I'm like, that's where the fun came in, really.
Yes.
And so I love that you're like, you know what? Let me just do it. Let me actually market myself
Yes.
as the marketer and help others. That's awesome. And I love how it just kind of organically happened as to what was fitting into for your life in the moment.
Mhm. Yes.
Cool. So cool. So you just went through several streams of income and all. So what is currently active in your life right now? Just to clarify, like, what are those pieces that bring in income that help you create the life that you have right now and the freedom that you have to still be around your kids and do what you want to do and set your own time?
Yes. So right now, the ER marketing services is the number one. And I do still have the handmade business because they're both creative in their own right, but differently. One, you get a product at the end. One, it's a service and you help others in different ways for both of them. So yeah, I love them both. And those ones are alive and kicking.
So cool. So how do you balance your time between the two? Because both of them take a certain amount of time to get that end product. And then of course you've got your kids, you've got your husband, you've got just life in general. How do you balance it?
Yes. So I had to prioritize which one needed to have more of my time. So 75% is or more to the marketing agency. And then it's a side hustle is my handmade business. And that happens when it happens. But if anyone out there has creative energy, if you make things, I find for myself, it comes in waves. At the beginning of 2020, when the pandemic was announced, we were all homebound. Oh my gosh, I made so many hats because it helped. It was therapy as well. It took my attention away from things. I was able to focus. I had a tactical outlet and I was seeing results of my efforts. I had a pile of hats at the end of the day, so that it had its time. But then after about 6 months, I haven't looked at a hat in a year and a half because I just, you know what, I need to move on. And
Right.
I shifted my energy, but now I'm starting to get the itch. If anyone's a creator, like you get an itch in
Oh,
your fingers, in your soul. And I'm starting to, okay, I want to go back to that. But that's an evening, that's a weekend thing. And it's a passion project. So it's a reward for me for
mhm.
working, doing bookkeeping and, doing things I might not want to during the day. That's my reward. I turn on a Hallmark Christmas movie. And so that's how I have portioned it out into my life is that's my reward passion project. I still love what I do during the day,
Yeah.
but it's more of a treat instead of I have to do that one.
Right. Right. I know early in my corporate career, I had the opportunity to work from home.
Mhm.
And um, and I was a project manager for a bank. And so there were times when we were in a really big project. It was really stressful. There was lots to do. And I always had my at the time I was really into scrapbooking and all of that.
Mhm.
So that was always out on my kitchen table. So when I would hit a block trying to figure something out, something wasn't working with a test I was doing. It was all technical and testing and all of that kind of stuff. So when something wasn't quite working out, I would get up and like, you know what? Because I was working from home, I could do there was a little flexibility there. And I'd go scrapbook for 30 minutes. Or on my lunch break, I would scrapbook so that I could get different creative juices flowing. And then I could
Yes.
come back down and I'd look, it was like, and I'd be like, oh, why didn't I see that before? And get back to it, I'm like,
Yes.
oh, this is how that needs to be set so that this will work the way it needs to. And so I do miss some of that. I haven't scrapbooked in a really long time. I used to joke that I had enough scrapbook supplies that I didn't need to buy any for like 10 years other than the adhesive to stick things together. But now I paint. My daughter paints, and so sometimes when she's painting, I'll get something out and I'll paint something too. And so I want to get back into a little bit more of that aspect of my creativity. And because I think, again, I've been really heads down in my business, especially over the last year and a half, 2 years of just working on those things, those business builders, those needle movers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I need to spark some creativity in a different way. So I love that you have that outlet as well to help with just like, let me go think about something else for a little bit. Is that reward? Okay, I've done the hard thing.
Yes.
Now, I used to reward myself with shows. So there were some times when like a new season of something would come out, like until I get through this launch or whatever, until I get all this stuff done, I can't watch it, or else I'll get like totally engrossed in it and not want to do the things that I need to be doing.
Yes.
The binge watching became the show, which is why like there's so much within this summit, like with, you know, we're binging day 1 and we're binging day 2, and that's why it's called a show, because it's fun to think of it that way and think of this theme of this is the Freedom in Business show, and it's like entrepreneurial training, but hopefully it's not just educational, but hopefully you're entertained by it as well as you're watching. So and you want to just move on to the next one and move on to the next one. That's my goal. How did you grow your marketing business? I know you said that you had some friends and you just kind of naturally helped them out, but when you decided to actually, I'm going to open this business and I'm going to actually make that the business. Mm-hmm. How did you get those first clients, those first paying clients to really launch you out?
Well, so I'll tell you, this actually was a couple years in the making. When you're trying to exit something, I wanted to have a plan, and I wanted, you know, I in case it didn't succeed, I was saving money. So it's not as easy as one day I just woke up and I decided to do a marketing business, because I know a lot of people who are beginner entrepreneurs are like, wow, it sounds so easy. No, it took me a long time. So I evaluated my skills. What did I have? What did I love doing? And what could I help others with most? So I have an English BA honors degree. So I love to write. That's why I'm a children's book author as well. I love to write. I love to create. I love marketing, and I love doing things a little bit differently. So one of the things differently about my business right now, which took a while to evolve, is we do an interview style approach, which is different than other agencies who you just literally hand, here you go, market my business. No, the entrepreneur, the business owner is involved so that their passion, their stories, their experience, and their knowledge, they still come through. They don't have to copyright it and wordsmith it. That's our job. But that's the difference. And then they're involved. So it's consistent, as you mentioned earlier when you introduced me, it's consistent to how you verbally network with other people and express your business to what people are seeing on your digital marketing. So I went off a little bit on a tangent.
No.
But so what I did was I evaluated my skills. I made a savings plan so that if it didn't succeed, I had a cushion. I wasn't so stressed out. And I made a list. I made a list of what I could do. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it was 3 pages long. Okay, I don't want to do everything, but I actually started as a VA. A virtual assistant. And then as I started getting clients and doing the work, I realized what really lit me up. And so I niched and I cut out the other things that I could do, but did I want to do them?
Right.
So that's how I've really tight. I design marketing strategies and write content for websites, blog posts, social media, and email newsletters, and pretty much only those 4 things, because I have created a system. Work smarter, not harder. If you create a blog post, that becomes inspiration for our social media. That becomes inspiration for our email newsletters. So it's more efficient and economically affordable for clients as well. So, you know, if you're just starting out, I just want to give you permission. It's okay to feel overwhelmed and be offering all the things. You're going to focus what lights up your heart, what makes you jump out of bed. That was in 2018. I just started the interview process last year because you listen to feedback that you're getting in engagement on social media, in your client meetings, and you answer that request. When you hear it a few times, listen to it and
Yeah.
make something for it. And that's how I've been able to really, I love what I do. Every part of the business now I love. Okay, maybe not accounting, but that's an admin thing. But everything I serve my clients with, I love.
Yeah. And I've done the same thing where I did, even though I knew when I started this, that business coaching was the ultimate, the ultimate destination.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, I did some email marketing campaigns that I wrote. I did some other done for you branding and things. And I did learn, like, I'm so much better. My zone of genius is in the strategy, in the brainstorming, in the helping keep you accountable, and in the teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have as much fun in the doing. And
Yeah.
so the for you services are not where I really enjoy being. And so, but I've learned that through, like, let me try it out. Let me do a done for you branding package. Okay, did that. And like the teaching part of it, the interview part of it, the walking through what is it going to be and all that, like that was great. But then now let me execute it. Yeah,
right. And that also helps build your business stronger too, because you figure out what you really do well. If you still want to offer it as a service, that's when you grow your team.
Right.
And you delegate. So you're still offering the service to the clients, but you're not doing it yourself. So there's so much potential when you really listen to yourself, what you love, and what people are asking for help with.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where that is one of those things that I have kind of put on the list of one day this will be something that we offer within this coaching practice for my clients. It will be a service, but yes, it will be more of an agency type of thing where I'm doing the onboarding, I'm doing that teaching part and grabbing the strategy, everything. And then it will be somebody else who actually like builds the materials and everything.
I think that's smart. Work smart, right?
That's right. Exactly. When it comes to newer businesses, or even if you've been around a couple of years, you're still trying to figure things out, everything. Where are the best places right now for businesses to be marketing? Where should the focus be?
Okay.
And I'm going to guess, take a little bit of a guess that most of our audience are in the online space.
Yes. Okay. And I would say first evaluate where your people are hanging out. So I mentioned in a list when I described what I do, we do websites, social media, blog posts, and email newsletters. First thing I give my permission clients to not do when we first meet is don't do all the things at once. What are your goals? Where are you now and where do you want to be? In what timeline? Which one has the most immediate timeline? And what makes sense for you? Does a website make sense for the type of business that you have? Or do you have something more urgent, like a workshop that you really need to promote? It doesn't make sense to spend a couple weeks doing a website. It makes more sense to start with social media, get the buzz, get the direct clients, and then do a website after. Yeah. Or if you don't have urgency, maybe it does make sense to have a website. And I'm going to actually share this resource later with you. You don't need to make it complicated. Just have 4 pages, get it up. A website's a living document. You're always adding to it. You're always changing it, but start with a home page and about page, a little bit about your services or where they buy it, and a contact page. That's all you need to get started if that makes sense for where you are right now. So the answer is really personal to where you want to be. But I will tell you, one of the trends right now is short videos. Whether you are your own face of your brand, or you are a product, business where it's at arm's length, but service-based businesses and, solopreneurs who are the face of their brand, put your face on video. You're at a summit. We're making a connection right now through video. It's as close as we can be to in-person networking. In-person networking, number one opportunity where you can. Then video, so people can get a vibe for you. If you're selling a course, think about your own buyer experience. If you're going to purchase a course, before you invest, you probably check out their YouTube channel. Can I listen to this person for 8 hours, or does their voice just grate on my nerves? Do I like the way they're delivering it? Some people can be brisk and some people like that. Some people are warm, fuzzy and lots of detail and flowery explanations. And if that is your vibe, find the person that's true for you. So flip it around when you are having potential clients vet you and see if you're a good fit. Give it to them. Make it easy for them to make that decision if you are good or not. Because you don't want people hiring you. Yes, it's a sale, but if it's not a good fit on your end either, you don't want those clients. So that
Right.
I would say is the number one way to start no matter what. And you can use those videos on your website. How cool would it be to go to the about page and say, hi, I'm Elizabeth, and this is all about me. And then you can read more if you like, because everyone's a different learner too. We have audio learners, we have visual learners, we have people who like to read at their own pace, different accessibility options to consider. If people have visual problems, they may not be able to read the page, or their computer program who is accessing it may, they don't have inflection. It's very
Right.
cold and monotone. So that gives them a variety of options to get to know you.
I love all of those suggestions and all of those ideas. And that's why very early on for me, I started a YouTube channel, and I'm like, even if nobody's watching right now, it's this library of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it eventually became, it started out as just, let me turn on the camera and do it. Now there's like an intro, right? And now it's, almost 3 years later, I've got the Empowered Creativity Show, and I interview people. I do solo episodes, and it's out there. And I've heard great feedback, thankfully now, but I'll say it took a while for me to get to the point where, like, now I've got people who have said, like, I love binge watching your shows. There's so much great information. I love learning from you. And it's a great introductory way for them to get to know what would it be like to coach with me.
Yes. And Stephanie, look at where you are now. You have become confident on camera. You are hosting a summit.
Oh yeah.
Would you have done that had you not had the video experience and the comfort at your own pace? There you go. So, I mean, it's character building as well in other aspects of your business.
Right. Oh yeah. I'm an introvert who would not want to be, on camera. I did a little bit in some of my network marketing stuff where I would do some challenges, and it's like, I liked it, but then I was still very nervous. I'd get all red everywhere.
Oh,
yeah. And really, that YouTube channel started because the coach that I had at the time had challenged me and some of the other students. She's like, you're going to be getting on podcasts. That's going to be something we do.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be doing interviews, and you need to get used to speaking about what you do. And so she had challenged us to just do Facebook Live swaps, and you're just, get on Zoom, do an interview, post it in your Facebook group, post it wherever, but just get it up and start talking about what you do and interviewing each other. And I realized how much I loved interviewing people and hearing their story and hearing about how they got into business and why, and what it looks like. Kind of like the first part of this interview today, like, is what a lot of the beginning of my show is as well. And so it's just so much fun to hear the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And so I can go back to some of those old ones, and I'm like, oh, but I take it down because I want that history. I want that history. I want to be able to see, look how far I've come.
Yes.
Now I know, like, I love talking on video. I'd rather create a video and do that than blog. And I know I've mentioned that in some of the other interviews, like, that's how my blogs happen generally, is that I speak it, and then I get the transcript and I go create a blog from it. And then you have the video and you have the blog. And because I don't blank sheet of paper, the
Yep.
thoughts will not. Turn on the camera and me start talking, and the thoughts start flowing. So that leads me to what other types of content. So what type of content marketing really should business owners do? Because we can get very caught up in, you mentioned like, we got to be everywhere, and we don't. So what are the key pieces? Like if at a bare minimum, at least do these to start.
And when you say content pieces, I am not just thinking social media. I'm thinking of those 4 pillars: website, blog posts, social media, as well as emails and or newsletters. So usually the journey that a client who has nothing is working with me for, what we recommend is, again, what are your goals? Because that will answer the question. But let's just assume it's a textbook case. I'd say, let's get you a website started, because that's going to tighten up your message. You're going to understand your message. And because it's interview style with me in particular, I can ask questions that you may not even realize that people don't know the answer to, because you're like a victim of your own genius. You just assume everyone knows how to knit a hat. Right? Like not everyone does. We're all, we're coming to you because these are questions. So I can really get that out of you. And then I find a lot of the clients who go through that process are so grateful at the end. They're like, wow, I didn't even know that's what I wanted to offer, or that's why I was offering things the way I was.
Yeah.
So we do your website, and then we plan, again, based on your goals. Does it make sense to do blog posts or social media? And they each have their place. Blog posts are great because when you first set up, this is a little technical, but not too technical. When you first publish your website, the browsers, let's use Google as our browser of choice, they have spiders and they crawl your website. And what they're doing is they're indexing your content. So they want to know, oh, are you a children's birthday party planner? Great. Because those are all the keywords that you're using. Are you a real estate agent? Okay. Because the number one goal of search engines, pardon me, is to serve up the exact answer to the question that is being typed into the search engine. And they're not doing their job if they don't give the number one page who does that. So that's why they index. So after time on a website, once it's been live, if you haven't done anything to it, you start going down the ranks because there's nothing new for the spiders to crawl or index. And then after a year or two, is this business even still open? Because nothing has happened on their website.
Yeah.
So that's where the blog strategy comes in. You keep your content fresh on your website. The spiders will redo it. And also you can focus on a targeted keyword or keyword phrase. So I mentioned children's birthday party. Let's use some blog examples for what that could look like. You could talk about themes. Maybe you talk about a Paw Patrol theme because that's something that it's popular. They've just had a new movie and everyone wants it. And no, I'm not going into trademark licensing. That's your choice as a business owner, but I'm just giving some hot examples of what you could do. So you could talk about Paw Patrol in one episode. So then who's looking for a Paw Patrol birthday party planner? They're going to go to that page. Then we're going to talk about, I don't know. Oh gosh. What's popular now? Coco Melon, I think, is another one. Maybe that's one, or maybe it's trucks. Maybe it's a truck theme. So you have a whole opportunity to really unpack those themes. And if you've had a client who's had one of those Paw Patrol parties, tell about the story, the client experience. This is what I did for little Johnny's 5th birthday. We had Paw Patrol. His favorite one was Marshall, and, blah, blah, blah. Then you have a client testimonial in there. Don't take our word for it. This is how the client. So you tell a little bit about your process, a little bit about how you executed it without giving away your secret sauce. And then this is how the birthday boy responded, or how the parents as your client, and then a little testimonial, and you have pictures. So it's kind of like a portfolio 10-upped. And that's how you can use it. Maybe you talk about children's birthday party budgeting. You could have a checklist on there as a lead magnet so people sign up. So there's lots of opportunities with blog posting. I just wanted to get you excited about it because I love blog posting. And then social media is very similar, but remember it's social and media. So you need to have the media being your static posts or your video posts on your feed. Social, engage with people, go to your followers pages, engage with them. It's a two-way street. If you only do the media part, it's like going to a networking event and saying, hi, I'm Elizabeth. Here's my card. Oh, who's next?
Yeah.
And you're not engaging with them. People
Right.
are also working hard to put things out. And if they're following you, it's for a reason. Yeah, we start with friends and family, show them love back for supporting our business. And they may even share our posts with people, with their friends who might be interested in the products or services that we sell. So you never know where those leads are going to happen. It's a word of mouth situation. And I want you to think about when you leave a comment on someone who you look up to and they respond back. Don't you say, oh, Taylor Swift, she responded to my comment, right? You totally fangirl or fan guy.
Oh yeah.
So give your audience that experience as well. And then as you're doing blog posts, as you're doing social media, we have the engagement, we have the posts where we're telling, sharing the testimonials, sharing the stories of recent or upcoming events, asking questions of our audience so that we know what different packages or services or products to design next. That's gold. It's free information. So get that. So in addition to that, now we're inviting people because you're going to start an email list. And I want you to think about a couple weeks ago, if you were caught with Instagram and Facebook when it shut down and WhatsApp, did your business go, you couldn't reach out? Or did you have an email list where you were able to pivot and instead of posting on social media, send out a quick email and say, I know that, our social media main way of interacting is down, but I really need you to hear this today.
That's exactly what I did.
Yes, absolutely. So that's why we want to have our email list because we own it essentially. Yeah. Now, okay, drip went down yesterday, which is marketing. Okay, yes, but you still have your email list.
It's, if you look at it, it's basically knowing that I can communicate either way.
Yes.
And if down, the other one most likely won't be. And if so, yeah, because I use Kajabi and every now and then they have a glitch and something goes down. And so I can't do that, but I can still go on social, or when social went down, they'll go and email. And same thing with, through your website, you could go and post something, just an announcement or something, do something on your website that says, hey, I recognize, I can't talk. So I'm right here.
Yes. And one of the beautiful strategies about email as well, whether it's, if you do it as a newsletter, so I kind of use the terms interchangeably, but an email to me is just a one-off. Here's a sale, and you're just having one message or one call to action. But a newsletter, you can, instead of making people go to your Instagram account, which may have different information than what you put on your LinkedIn account or your Twitter account, instead of making them remember, and then your blog post goes out, every Friday. Here you go, wrapped up in a pretty little bow. These are my top highlights of what I've talked about this week that I want to make sure you, my VIP, do not miss out on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how special is that?
Right. Yeah.
So lots of options in terms of where to go with your content.
Yeah, but that's great because a lot of it, like you mentioned, there is a different audience in these different places. And so while you may be kind of saying a similar thing, you're going to put it in a little bit of a different package on LinkedIn than on Instagram. On Instagram, you may do it as a reel, and on LinkedIn, you may do it more of a static, written post.
Yes.
Or you might do video, but it's not going to be you dancing. It's going to
and not all video has to be dancing. I know that's a big hesitation.
I'm having fun with the reels, though. Yesterday I did my first one where it was just me speaking, although it was still just a funny one, but addressing those hesitations. So I did one I was calling God and said, oh, I'm supposed to take action. I'm not just supposed to be waiting on you to do everything Like
That's a good one.
It requires me to take action too. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two-way street.
Right. That's right. So I love that we've talked a lot about blogs, because I think there is a hesitation among a lot of business owners. There are some that they're writers, and so it's just natural.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna write articles about stuff. But I know I've talked to many clients and prospective clients. So like, why do I even need a blog? What's the purpose? What does it do for me to have that? And so can you give us some of the advantages? You've touched on a few, but just kind of a little bulleted list almost. What are the advantages of having a blog over maybe, over depending on social media or video or whatever, but what the
Sure.
structure, why have a blog?
We want a blog. So I did mention that it keeps your website fresh so that you stay higher in the ranks. It's a free way of marketing. You don't have to pay for an ad to get shown up top. They're just going to serve you up top if you're using the right words. It also gives you, a creative outlet, if you like that, but it's a way for you to establish your authority. So afterwards, if I decide to get a transcript from this event or maybe another podcast that I'm doing, I can make that into a blog post, highlight my key points. I can also get quotables from it. So then I have, what did I just say? I don't remember what I just said, make your podcast into a blog post. There's a quotable by Elizabeth Ruth. That's original content that I can break up into social media. I can chop up, usually I don't make blog posts hard. Intro, 3 main points, conclusion.
Yeah.
You can do as long as you want in between, but that could be 3 to 5 potential social media posts, because I just break out the intro. Yeah, I change it around a little bit, but my message is still, the core message is there. Point number 1, talk about it, have a call to action in it. So that's a great idea, that it's original content from you. People are getting confidence. Embed a video where you can, because even if it's a YouTube video or from a third-party source, there's something called bounce rate. And basically, the longer you can keep someone on your website, the better, because it's going to help in the rankings. Because not only is Google checking out if you're delivering the right information to what people are searching for, but then when people actually click, how long are they staying? Are they getting what they want? Yeah. And if so, you get credit. And again, you stay up in the ranks. So you've probably heard this: know, like, and trust factor. Educate, inspire, entertain. This is your moment on your blog post in different ways to share why your products or services, or invest in your business. And you just come at it from different angles.
Perfect. Now, I'm going to throw you a little curveball here.
Okay.
I'm curious about businesses that are a little more seasonal in nature.
Mm-hmm.
How do you maintain throughout the year?
Yes.
To be able to attract people in? So I'll give you an example. One of my clients right now, he has a product-based business that his sales only happen during hunting season.
Okay.
And or most of his sales happen during hunting season.
So hunting equipment, or I'm just trying to think of a tactical example.
It's a product that attracts deer. So instead of like corn, like it's a scent that drips out of a bottle and attracts the deer that they come and find you, right?
Right.
And other scents that then make sure they don't smell you. They're only smell.
Yes.
So it's very seasonal. And while the season seems long, there's like this one high part, like right around Thanksgiving, when deer season opens, right?
Okay.
That's when everybody's preparing right before that. And then sales drop off, and he's just in prep mode then for the next year. What kind of content should a seasonal, but let's say it though that it's a craft business, and they mainly focus on Christmas crafts, Christmas handmade items, things like that, that where it's picking up in that Christmas season. What do you do year?
The rest of the year. So I'm
For fun.
going to randomly pick a time that would be your hot season. So if you're Christmas based or this deer season, I'm thinking September to December would be your core, like quarter 4 is your big season.
Right.
So quarter 1, you thank your people. Thank you so much. I had such an incredible sales year, or I was at these markets. Give summaries of different events you were at and show pictures of you with your fans. And that can be a series. That does not just have to be one post. You're at this market the first week of December, this market the second week, this market the third. You were sharing a bountiful Christmas with your family, and thank you everyone for supporting your small business. There's January 4 posts. Then in February, how can you spin your products so that you can sell for other occasions? Could you do, let's say you do wreaths. Can you do an Easter wreath? Can you do a Valentine's Day wreath? And it's just a matter of you buy different picks, or I don't know, you crochet hearts instead of, Santa hats. I don't know, making it up here. But you could pivot just a little bit so that you have the core of your business and find a different way to market it. So that it could be birthdays, main holidays. Can you do a back to school version of what you do? For your deer product person who is specifically come at it from how to use it, how to store it when you're not using it, birthday gift ideas, original gift ideas. What about if you become an affiliate for other, I don't know, camo vests? I don't know the industry. I'm making this up, but camo vests, safety gear, whatever, a tent, because people would probably stay over if they're really hardcore and, they're in it for a couple days, gun storage, food storage. So bears don't come when you're there. You could sell those products. You could review those products, have an affiliate link, and make sales on low time. So get creative. How can you collaborate with other businesses in the industry, whether it's an affiliate or maybe you're doing, God, I'm getting so excited about it. There's so many options. I'll stop. But, you could collaborate with other businesses so that when your high season is, then, or maybe you get on their shelves and you promote their sales, because there's small businesses in your town who are still selling something parallel and they're brick and mortar doing it year round. So get on there.
Those and kind of doing those recaps. And I will say, like, I did talk to him about that. He was at the Big Buck Classic. I'm like, send me pictures. Tell me a story of somebody you spoke to, and let's create with it.
Yes. And then in social media, if you are doing those shows, get people's Instagram handle or wherever you are on social media. Can I tag you? I'd totally love to tag you, or friend them right away. On your phone. So then you have them and then you make a note of their name. Okay. At 10 o'clock, I met, Jane Smith, and I'm friends with her on her Instagram or something.
Right.
So it does take a little bit of thought and a little bit of organization, but when you tag Jane Smith hugging you at the show and she sees it, how likely is she to forward that to her stories or to, Facebook account if it's on Facebook? Social media wants to share. There are options to make it easier for people who you're tagging to do that.
Right.
Free marketing, free.
Yes. I love that. Perfect. Okay. And you gave me great ideas. And I love that a lot of what you said is what I've told my clients. So that's cool. I'm on the right track.
Yep. And a great resource is Answer the Public.
Yes.
No matter what business you're in, you type in a keyword. I don't know, deer sense. I don't know what that keyword would be, but deer season.
Like that is it. Like,
and then
that would say the hard part is trying to find a collection of keywords to use for this particular particular industry.
Yes.
I've loved it. I've loved working on this with him, but it is a challenge because I'm not a hunter either. So this is like,
Right.
I don't know what I'm, it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, I know what we should be doing. How do we do it for you?
Yes.
And you said, I love that you mentioned if you're not making updates to your site, then you continue to go down, 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 down if there's not fresh content. And that is one of the things that I found on his site is that he hadn't really done any updates in 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, and he was wondering, why am I not getting traffic? Right. So, so I'm working on a lot of SEO with him. I found a lot of things where a lot of the written content, whoever had designed his site had put it all in images. And so that's not helpful. Right. So I'm like, okay, some of it's like, it still looks almost the same, but all I did was take the picture and leave the
text
and bring the text out so that Google has something to search.
Yes. Or use alternative, what is it? Alt text.
The alt tags.
Yeah. As your accessibility, because readers will be able to read the description. And then I think Google can still crawl it if you do that.
Right.
So that's another option for image heavy. Always describe your images to help for accessibility of your readers and to help the spiders and the AI, the artificial intelligence, scrub your site too.
Right. Yeah. And if you've missed it, I'm just going to plug one of our other speakers, Sharon McCaskill, went all into SEO. And that's what we're talking about.
Good.
She went all into SEO. So make sure you go and watch hers. You'll want to take notes just like you are in this one, because this is tons. This is the front end, the blog. And then Sharon was like, this is what you do on the back end or in preparation for writing the blog so that it is SEO friendly and ready for Google to find it easily. So this is perfect. It's a great little pairing here with these two discussions.
Awesome.
Awesome. So you mentioned one place of Answer the Public. What are some other places that where people can go and find content inspiration?
So Answer the Public is going to give you a list of questions that people are actually asking. You can do similar searches in Pinterest, Google, and YouTube. Slowly type your question as though you were a consumer looking for that answer, and Google will give you predictive text to fill in the blank. And there will actually be quite a bit. And if you're not finding anything, you can be assured that not a lot of people are searching for it. So try different ways to ask the question. And the ones that you hit gold on, you just mark down all those questions, use those phrases. And this is SEO, what Sharon, I think you said her name was, what she's probably touched too, but you want to use those phrases in your text naturally, because then, oh, this is the question that everyone's asking. Here's a phrase that has the answer. Here you go.
Yeah.
So I do that the same as Pinterest. Just pretend you're a consumer looking for that information, see what comes up. And then also on social media accounts. So again, if you're using Instagram, type in a keyword that you think people would be looking for and vet the posts that come up that are as the result or the hashtags. So you want to go, because maybe you're using, I don't know what's something that could be possibly questionable. I don't know. Let's use something really innocent and make it not. So let's say you're searching elf on the shelf and you think it's totally innocent, but you go and it's a feed of like half naked elves on the shelf, like a different spin on it.
On the shelf.
Yeah, that you wouldn't have even thought of. So you do want to validate, like, okay, if I'm using this hashtag or if I'm using this term, is it being used how I'm intending to use it?
Yeah.
So, so usually elf on the shelf, you're pretty safe with, but, but when you find it, how are people posting? What are the top ones? Because you can view it by top and recent.
Yeah.
So study, but why is this top? Why does this have 10,000 comments or 5,000 likes? Study it. Don't copy it, but replicate it in your own unique spin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a combination of the way they've chosen their graphics, the hashtags that they've used, the way they've written their description. So again, don't copy it exactly, but use it as a reference. And then you do your own testing. Because what I have found is when I go to, we're just going to use Instagram right now. When I've gone to audit Instagram accounts, 9 times out of 10, the accounts that I'm looking at, the images with the person or the product really cleanly displayed, those are the top ones. Everything else, if it's not clear, if they can't tell what it is just by a click, it doesn't stop the scroll. You know, when you're like, oh, look it on your phone, it's called stop the scroll because you want to interrupt it and get attention. So what's grabbing attention? That's what you want to replicate visually.
Yeah. I'll give actually an example with my hunter client here. His company name is Lockdown Outdoors. And when I started searching that, of course, we've been in lockdown for 2 years. So things were coming up, just around Corona,
Yes.
lockdown, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, we're going to have to find different things, right? Like that, using his company name as a hashtag was not going to be beneficial for him being right. So I love, so that's very definitely had to deal with. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much. This has been so great. Again, this is like note-taking worthy content here. So hopefully you've listened, grabbed a whole lot, and then you need to go back and you need to listen again and take the notes for sure. And if you feel like you might miss out on the opportunity to do that, go grab your lifetime access before the show ends today so that you know you're secure and that you have this information to use again and again and again as you continue to grow your business. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Stephanie. I had a great time.